Hello there, I am MFA Akosia Adeti and welcome to Joy News Desk live on Joy News. Headlines this morning. Chief of Staff under fire for a decision to annul public sector appointments made after December 7. We've got details as Member of Parliament for Tafo, Vincent Eko Asifwa, leads a pack of victims to court. Also, no political appointments yet. Supporters of the governing National Democratic Congress in the Tripoli district of the Northeast region hit the streets to display their anger. We'll hear from our correspondents on the ground. And we'll let you in on a new format for Beyond the Numbers. We've got these plus business updates on our desk. Many thanks for choosing us. Please stay. We appreciate your company once again. Now, the Chief of Staff has come under criticism for a decision to annul all appointments made after December 7. A letter from Julius Deborah reads, and it will be on your screen now, says that, we'll just roll that up for you shortly. Well, we'll bring you that details in a bit later, but just to remind you what we're doing later in the bulletin, we're going to be talking to Vincent Eko Asifwa on the back of this letter that we're just about reading to you, which you may have seen, and it will be an extended version of what happened on the AM show earlier. Now, from your screen now, it says that consistent with government procurement in relation to consistent with government's pronouncement in relation to near end of tenure appointments and recruitments, I wish to bring to your attention that all appointments and recruitments made in the public services of Ghana after 7th December 2024 are not in compliance with established good governance practices and principles. Accordingly, all heads of government institutions are hereby requested to take the necessary steps to annul any appointments or recruits and submit a comprehensive report on the actions taken to this office by 17 February 2025. Your cooperation is in this matter is highly appreciated, and this is to all heads of government institutions, signed by Honorable Julius Deborah, Chief of Staff. Well, on the back of this, the MP for Tafo has decided that, well, it's not going down with him and as well with some Ghanaians, and says that he is heading to court. And let's bring you as well what his reasons are. He says that if this government is serious about job creation, it should be expanding opportunities, not displacing workers. Sacking people and replacing them does nothing to reduce unemployment. It only deepens economic hardship. And moreover, ours is a constitutional, sorry for that mishap, but moreover, ours is a constitutional government. We're governed by laws and not some unknown unconstitutional principles. The powers of government are limited by the constitution that creates those powers. And continues to say, our 1992 constitution upholds the arbitrary exercise of power in a capricious fashion. The Constitution further fronts upon the removal, dismissal, or termination of the employment of persons belonging to the public services without a just cause. Even in private spheres, we are guided by the principles of fair hearing. He continues to say, we cannot sit and allow the government abuse us in a manner that does not accord with the due process of law, an approach which is dehumanizing and a violation of our entrenched rights as not only human beings, but more importantly, Ghanaians. Well, let's speak to the Member of Parliament for Tafo, who is not pretty excited about the decision by government to revoke all appointments that were made after the December elections. Thank you, Eko, for joining us this morning. And so we've seen your concerns. Let's understand how you intend to address this issue.
Well, MFA, good morning to you. And let me say a very good morning to the people of Volta constituency. Yesterday I saw a release that is in regard to persons who were recruited after the 7th of December. Remember that the Chief of Staff had already written to the state agencies requesting for details of persons who were recruited after the 7th of December. But I think we have to put matters into proper perspective. One, it should be noted that the fact that you were given an appointment letter after 7th of December is not in itself illegal. There are two possibilities. It is possible that the appointment letter did not follow the right procedure, and it is also possible that it followed the proper procedure. So I want to underscore the point that the mere fact that appointment letters were issued even after 7th of December does not in itself makes it illegal. Two, we should also understand that the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana protects members of public service, which members are only supposed to have their appointment terminated and revoked if and only if there is a just cause. Without a just cause, they cannot have their appointment revoked. Again, the processes leading to an appointment letter is that one, there should have been a financial clearance, which financial clearance should have warranted or led to an advertisement in the dailies. The dailies advertisement should have also warranted the PSC to compose or to constitute an interview committee. The interview committee must have also taken persons who applied through an interview process. Then after the interview process, qualified persons must have been shortlisted, which qualified persons or the qualification from the interview must have warranted for an appointment letters. This is the procedure. And if this procedure is followed through strictly, even if the letter or appointment letters were given on the 6th of January, it does make it valid and legal in law. It is not enough to say that because the appointments were given after 7th, it is illegal. I'll take you to the case of Theophilus Donko versus Attorney General. In that case, the Supreme Court had the occasion to indicate that persons who are appointed by the president, which persons have been named in the Transition Act, will have their term of office as coterminous with that of the President of the Republic of Ghana. And these persons are ministers of state, deputy ministers of state, assistants of ministers of state and deputy ministers of state and what have you. And so in this instance, these persons, when the president is leaving, he lives with them. But Theophilus Donko had the occasion to say that yes, even though bodies, if you like, governing councils and governing...
I'm not sure about the network, but if you can hear me, let's revert back to the directive from the presidency. If I look at the content of that letter, it really does not suggest any legalities per se. However, the crux of it also, you can find that it says that the appointments that were made 7 December 2024 are not in compliance with established good governance practices and principles. And so is this supposed to mean that the list of people which the government requested for may have done their initial assessment to establish that all of these appointments do not comply with established good governance and practices and principles? And where I'm heading to with this is that I don't know if you're intending to go to court. And if you're intending to go to court, under what provision under the Constitution would you be going to court? Do I still have... Okay, we'll go for a quick break. We'll be back shortly. Welcome back, and sorry for that quick break, but let's go back to Vincent Eko-Asifo, Member of Parliament for Tafo, who is not quite excited about the directive from the presidency about the revocation of all persons who may have been appointed after the December 7 election. And he's been giving us some basis to why he's not quite excited. But I thank you, and now he joins us on phone. Vincent, so if I look at the directive from the presidency, I am not seeing any legality per se. I don't know if you're decided to want to go to court. And if you're going to court, let me in under which provision you'd be going to court. Vincent, if you can hear me, I'm not seeing any legality per se per the directive from the presidency. But if you decide to want to go to court, let me in on the provisions under which you'll be going to court and what really will be your issues.
Well, as I said, when you check Article 191 of the Constitution, members of public services are supposed to be protected. They are supposed to be protected to the extent that their appointment letters or their recruitment or their employment cannot be terminated. This is a constitutional provision. This is a supreme law of the land, that you cannot terminate some of these appointments without any just cause. So there should have been, or there should be, a just cause before appointments of this nature can be appointed. And so the point I'm trying to make is that if the government can prove to me that the processes, the laid down procedures were not followed, then I'm not sure I'm going to lead such a charge. But I am aware of some institutions that went through the proper procedure to recruit persons or give appointment to certain persons. And it is going to be very shocking for me if those agencies goes ahead to even, as it were, call these persons for such information because they went through the proper procedure.
So who will be determining who will be determining what a just cause is? Will it be in court, or it will be the appointor, determining really what a just cause is? And I'm referring to Article 195 especially because that provision seems to give some power to the president, that he seems to have the power, or not that he has the power to appoint. He can delegate that responsibility to the Public Service Committee to do that on his behalf. But if we also look at the Companies Act, it's as though you can terminate somebody's appointments without any reason. How do we just oppose all of these three provisions?
The President of the Republic of Ghana, or an appointor, or anyone who has the responsibility to make use of what a just cause is, will have to do so fairly and justifiably. So the President of the Republic of Ghana can even say that based on a just cause, I am terminating an appointment. It is within the rights of persons who are affected by that singular decision of the President of the Republic of Ghana to go to court and prove why those persons cannot have their appointment terminated on the supposed just cause that was labeled by the President. And so you can challenge that. So in the circumstances, you can clearly see that there hasn't been any termination yet, at least with the Ghana Water Company letter that I have seen. You can say that that is termination. But there are a number of agencies that this letter from Julius Debra is referring to. we are waiting to see how things will unfold. Then with the number of people that we are collating who are going to be affected or who are already affected, then we will now go to court to protect the rights of these persons.
Okay.
We are going to do our in-house analysis.
Okay.
The in-house analysis will be that, first and foremost, did they follow the right procedure? If they follow the right procedure, then I can assure you, I will lead this charge at no cost to any of them.
And this question you are asking, the right procedure during the recruitment or during the annulling of the appointment? This procedure, which one are you concerning yourself with? During the recruitment or during the annulling of the appointment?
It is during the appointment of these persons as public servants.
Okay. Hanging there for me, let's also go to Professor Michael Ayamga. And he is an applied economist at the West African Center for Sustainable Rural Transformation. Prof, I'm sure that you'll follow the conversation thus so far, the communication from the presidency, and as well the reasons that the Member of Parliament for Tafo, who is for the NPP, thinks that if there's a just cause, then he's going to be leading the charge. And in initiating this process, you may have seen that the Ghana Water Company has also suspended some persons who may have been appointed or recruited in November. Now, the dates are even quite varying. But what's your initial response to this? Do these people have any form of cause if they decide to want to go along with the Member of Parliament for Tafo? Do they have any cause? Well, let me go back to Vincent and see if I can reconnect with Prof. But Vincent.
Good morning to our viewers across the globe. And
yes, we can hear you. Please go on.
Also, yes.
Right, I'll go back to Vincent. Vincent, let's not have the legal argument. Let's have the convention and the traditional argument, where many have said that what is good for the goose. Unfortunately, the network is not favoring you, but let's try again. Please go on with your submission and let's see.
If they feel
unfortunately, the network is not favoring both of us, but I'll go back to Vincent. Again, let's move away from the legalities and go to the conversation around that what is good for the goose must be good for the gander. Many have said that prior to the NPP taking over government in 2016, during the transition period, there was that directive that, well, the NDC government should not do any form of appointments or should not appoint anybody or any recruitment or take decisions that may not, be in the better position to help the country. Would you say that in this same principle is what the current government is taking this decision?
Well, I was struggling to hear you because I could hear the other discussant on the line. So I was listening to both of you at the same time.
Okay.
So if you can repeat your question, I'll be glad.
Let's take a trip back to 2016, away from the legal conversations and discuss what's in the public domain. That the NPP issued a directive that the NDC at the time when they were transitioning should not, put in place any form of policy, transact any business or take decisions that may affect the incoming government in the transition period. And so people are thinking what probably is good for the goose should be good for the gander. Do you agree?
No, I think that as a nation, we should move beyond that kind of conversation where one government would want to tie the hands of the other, especially an incoming government wants to tie the hands of an outgoing government because there has been an election, which election led to the loss of the certain government. That should not be the case. Let us understand that in the intent of the framers of the Constitution, the intent was that let us give a certain government, or let us give a government 4-year term. The 4-year term is 4-year term, not 4 years minus 1 month. So if we understand that 4 years is 4 years, we give that 4-year term straight meaning of a 4-year. However, we have to find a way to protect excesses of a government, or if you like, an outgoing government. What are the excesses? Decisions or policies that seem to tie the hands of an incoming government about certain critical matters will have to be looked at. Mind you, in exercising any discretion or in exercising any decision on behalf of the people of Ghana, it will have to be done fairly, it will have to be done justifiably. And so, whilst I make that general statement that as parties, or if you like, as political parties, we should be careful the kind of things that we do when we are leaving government and the kind of things that we say when we are also coming into government. If we understand that we have 4 years, but we act through a certain amount of good faith, to know that the decisions or the policies that we are bringing out at the time is in consonance with the Constitution, it's also in consonance with good faith and good principles, then I do not have any problem with that, because
does the transition team at that period not cure these irregularities? The Transition Act, does it not cure these challenges? So that at the time, I recall, during the transition, the then or the current spokesperson for government issued a statement that really, for whatever it is, we don't know the coffers of this country, so no appointments at all. Does it matter at all? Otherwise, then the transition period wouldn't matter, because the confusion of the sitting government and the elected government who is going to be taking power in few days, which usually, or the convention is 7th of January. What then would be the Transition Act curing, if you're asking for this? Is that not what, it does not cure the excesses that you're referring to?
I agree with you to some extent. It actually cures it to some extent. But as I said, for example, if after 7th of December, there's an election, a certain government loses an election, goes ahead to appoint people without due process, the Transition Act itself cures that, because of, obviously, the incoming representatives of the transition process can make a point to that and tell you, hey, you cannot do this.
Okay.
But trust me, if there is a process that is already ongoing, and which, if you like, discussion were had during the transition process, for example, local government, I am very much aware that there were a number of discussions at the transition period where local government ministry and local government service had the occasion to inform the incoming government